Okay then, welcome to the first pilot episode of Mind Over Chatter, because that's a bad pun. What's the matter because we care? So that was the name of it. There's been a bit of a debate now. What should it have been called, by the way, Naomi?
It was just an observation. I
Yeah.
thought it was called What's a Natter?
Okay then. So
Natter.
what's the
Natter,
natter?
yeah,
Instead of what's
yeah,
well, what's
yeah.
better? Come on, let's have a vote. What's better?
I do like What's a Natter.
Well, all right. Okay then. Yeah. Yeah.
I get
Yeah.
it now, though. I do get
I
it.
don't know, it's just.
I quite like this. I quite
okay.
like this, but it
Yeah.
does. There's everything kind of slight sort of CBT theme to it. Mind over matter,
Mm.
mind over chat. But does that matter?
Well, no. Well, we're just having chatter anyway,
Yeah.
so really, what does it matter?
We like grey matter.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, right, as you can see, this is the kind of bar that we're setting it from the beginning. So I just want to talk about being real and genuine, because this is the first time I've ever done this. You may or may not have noticed. And I was watching a podcast. Now, every time I say I'm watching a podcast, Naomi says to me, "What do you mean watching a podcast? You're listening to a podcast." Well, actually, some podcasts you can watch them and listen to them at the same time, rather much like this one. So I'm going to use the word listening then. I was listening to a podcast because I'm listening and watching at the same time. Listening to a podcast over the weekend, and it was my favourite actor, Ethan Hawke. I'll call him Ethan because he's one of my best mates. Sounds a bit like better than Mr. Hawke, doesn't it? And then again, Mr. Hawke sounds like a bit of a superhero. Yeah, we'll call him Mr. Hawke. So Mr. Hawke was talking about this mindset as an actor of I don't know anything. This kind of like beginner's mindset taken from, I think it's from Zen Buddhism. And I started thinking that's quite pertinent, really, for us as therapists, especially when we have a client, especially when you have your first clients that you're going to have, and also because this is a podcast, and I don't know what I'm doing. Does anyone else know what they're doing?
Absolutely not.
Exactly. So we're going to have to work this out together. But it's good to be congruent, which is a word within counselling, which means real and genuine, and just admit we don't know what we're doing, and we're going to have to just kind of like feel our way through this. But I think I'm going to bring us back to that idea of I don't know what I'm doing and this beginner's mindset when we're going to talk about your first clients and also what we were like when we had our first clients. And even maybe, because I'm going to have to mention it, Tom's written a book. Audience, thank you, right? And maybe because it was your first book, that beginner's mindset about what it was like when you first started it. So that's kind of like the theme of this. And there's something else that Mr. Hawke said as well, but I'll bring that back as we kind of move through. So the first episode, part one, is going to be about 25 minutes. We've got about 22 minutes left, and so let's get into it. But I did write a theme tune because I think that every single podcast, every single show should have a good theme tune. What do you think? Do you want me to like? Do you want the theme tune?
Absolutely, yeah.
Very
Now, what I want you to imagine is, I mean, you're quite young students. There you go. That's the way, just raising their hands in the air. For the people who aren't listening and just listening, they were waving their hands in the air. And what music? What's the style of music which you crazy kids are into?
I mean, I think I'm the wrong person to ask, but I'm into like 2000 metal emo
Right,
stuff.
all right. So do you want it to be in that style?
I would probably like it, but I don't think everybody
okay,
else
then
would enjoy that.
My Chemical Romance sort of stuff, would that be?
Corn,
Corn, all right.
Metallica, all that kind of stuff.
Ah.
Simmer Down and all that.
Yeah.
Okay then. So very deep, but that's the worst. That sounds like an old man, doesn't it? Right. So that was my impression of Corn. Right. Right. Well, obviously, crazy kids are into jazz, aren't they? Like jazz music. That's what everyone's into. When you're all at the weekend and you kind of sat around and listening to your jazz and doing your beat poetry, like clicking your fingers, right? I thought that's what the theme tune should be, like a jazz type theme tune. So imagine it's a live jazz band. It's in the corner there, and this is like the jazz greats, like Jelly Roll, and peanut butter, all those real jazz greats, right? Arctic Roll, yeah, he's in it. He's on drums. Arctic Roll's in it. So just imagine this kind of like jazzy little theme. Get swaying to it, right? And I'll sing the theme tune, right? Now there is a trumpet solo, and it could go on for about 20 to about 40 minutes in the interest of jazz, but I'll try and keep it brief. Like that. So okay, and then each week we'll start off with we'll just go straight into the theme tune when we do the next episode. But this is just kind of like like introduce it. And I might do different themes. I might do a metal one, a blues one or whatever, right? So ready? So like imagine the jazz. Come on. There's a dance as well. You can join in the dance, right? Chatty, 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 let's do words, not karate. It's mind over chatter, what's the matter? There you go. I mean, I understand that bit might be a little bit insensitive for clients, right? But, it's a work in progress, right? Jazz solo.
It's actually happening. Yeah.
I know.
Is this actually an intervention for Nigel?
Anyway, yeah. Episode 1. Don't know what I'm doing. Right, so welcome to episode 1 of Mind Over Chatter. What's the
I'm
matter?
just going to finish off on House It Roll then.
Oh, go on then.
So, alright.
Do it. Very good. Very Neapolitan.
Yeah.
Didn't really make sense, that, did it? It's an ice cream.
Yes, and.
Yeah, an ice cream side joke. So anyway, so we've got onto this idea then of I don't know what I'm doing, as you have clearly seen. And this mindset, this beginner's mindset. So I think we should all introduce ourselves because obviously the listeners don't have a clue who we are. Here at the university, and I'm also a psychotherapist. We have over here.
Tom Meaney. I am a lecturer on the course.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a person-centered therapist. I'm also a qualified psychological wellbeing practitioner and an EMDR therapist. That's kind of me, really.
That is kind of you, yeah. I'd like a bit more audience participation, please. I mean, you should be like cheering and whooping that.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah, thank you, right? We have also over here.
I'll keep it brief. Naomi Wilkinson. I'm lecturer. I'm counselling psychotherapist and also a psychotherapist.
Okay then. Woo! But the real stars of today's show are you
Absolutely.
guys. We've got the students here. So, and just to let the listeners know that you're in the second year of
Counselor psychotherapy.
yes, degree level, which is a professional qualification, and you're about halfway through, and you get into that point where you're going to be seeing your first clients. So you've not seen a client yet. So now, going back to the beginning, this idea of a beginner's mindset. Did you got your hand
Introduce
up?
themselves.
All right, you're going to start correcting me when I
I'm
make
just
things wrong.
saying.
When I do microaggressions. Yeah, okay. Yeah, would you like to introduce yourselves? Yeah.
I'm Jack Bruce.
And I'm Kim.
Okay then. So, I'm part of this. I'm really interested in your experiences of what it's like to train, because one thing that this podcast is gonna do, well, hopefully, is 3Ds, I like to call it. I want to kind of stigmatize therapy by talking about it and letting people know that therapists aren't all crazy, apart from me, right? I want to de-jargonifize that word, therapy, right, and academicize therapy, because what I tend to find is when you actually read about therapy, it seems very, very complex. Carl Rogers, for the people, anyone want to explain who Carl Rogers is for the listeners very quickly?
I don't know if I can very quickly explain, but kind of created person-centered approach.
Yeah, he kind of is like the grandfather, maybe, of counselling, modern-day counselling as we know it, and his books are very academic. And I want to try and like de-academicize all that and trying to simplify the complex. So, which I like to use the word simplex. So, which I do understand sounds a bit like a plastic.
Does you?
Yeah,
It does,
simplex.
I like it.
For all your
Yeah.
plastic needs.
Can I get 2 meters of simplex, please?
Yeah.
I'll fit in the
I'm gonna
kitchen.
get. Do you want? What else do you want with that?
Can I get some listening tape? As
Yeah,
well,
I'll get some
please?
visiting tape and some simplex. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
What are you? Wow, what are you up to?
I'm refitting the bathroom.
So
I
yeah,
need some,
simplex would be the best thing for that.
simplex,
Yeah,
yeah.
because it's very durable. So
It's
anyway,
waterproof as well, is it?
no.
it's not. Oh, well.
nah.
I just want to say that for anybody that's coming to do this course in Lancashire, that this is exactly what the lessons will be.
Well, thank you, because we're simplexing psychotherapy for the masses. So where were we? I forgot where we were at. Carl Rogers,
yeah.
simplexing. So this idea of, rather than all we're doing, I don't know why I'm doing this with my hands, right? But
You're scheming.
Turned into a fly halfway through the
I've turned into
podcast.
Mr. Burns. I know I look a bit like him anyway, right? So, so for the people who aren't listening, I'm rubbing my hands together in a very kind of weird, creepy way. So, Mr. Hawke was talking about as an actor, right? His job is to really try and comprehend and understand what it's like to be another human being. And he said that's what his role is. So when he plays a role, he's not just acting by just like reading out words. He has to get into that person's mindset, really understand what it's like for that character. Why is that character thinking that way? Why are they feeling that way? Why would they say that in that way? Why would they drive that particular car, etc.? And I just thought, well, isn't that what we're trying to do with therapy? We're really trying to just get into the mind of another person, another human being. So I'm trying to simplex it by just thinking, if we begin with a new client with this beginner's mindset of we don't know what we're doing, even if you've had lots of clients, you've still never had that particular client before. So that beginner's mindset, don't know what we're doing, but also that Mr. Hawk's idea of, I really want to know what it's like to be another human being. And that's simplexing therapy. We're just trying to create a very, very close personal relationship by fully understanding somebody as if we were trying to play them in a role. So I thought, yeah, okay, that's a good analogy. I think it is. So with that in mind then, how are you feeling about having your first clients?
I personally am terrified because, like you said, it's the first one, and I think,
Yeah.
I think for me, it's the fact because when we're in class and we're practicing with each other, we all kind of already know that we're students, and we may not say the right thing or ask the right questions. But when it comes to a client, there is that potential of really messing up. And I think I've said this a few times to both of you, of just, I'm just so scared of saying the wrong thing, and I know your response is, well, there is no right answer, there is no right question. And I think once I've got that first client under my belt and they walk away and I'm like, right, okay, I've not completely messed up a person further, I think I'll probably get more confidence in myself.
Okay, I kind of get that. I mean, I felt very similar. And I always have the idea of, especially when I was just doing my skills practice, I don't want to say something that will offend or upset the client. So then that kind of really, really restricted me and held me back. But what do you think to that about what Kim was saying about there is no wrong?
Well, I mean, I think it's a big question, isn't it? It's
Yes.
a big question.
Well, you've got 12 minutes to answer it.
Yeah. Yeah. There's plenty of areas where one person could think it's the correct thing, and one person could think it's the wrong thing. But then we get into the realms of ethics, and there can clearly be wrong things and right things when we come to ethics. But for you, Kim, and for a lot of people in your cohort now, will be a time where the stakes are rising quite very significantly, and the things that you may feel, you could maybe get away with or overlook in your skills practice sessions are no more. And they'll be firmly under the spotlight for you, which is something that every single person who trains as a counsellor, every qualified counsellor will have to go through. But what you're saying around, once I've realised I've not damaged them, I know we laugh about it, but it's really, really serious, isn't it? We think about having that person open up to us and us be with them and sharing their pain and all the vulnerabilities they have. We want to do a good job. We want to keep them safe. And I think once you start to understand that there are many ways to approach something, there are many questions you can ask, there's many ways you can respond, then you'll start to build your confidence that actually, what Jack thinks is probably the right thing, may not be the right thing for you at that moment, and they're all okay.
Yeah.
That's how I view it. So long as it's ethical.
Yeah.
That's my viewpoint.
Yeah. No, you're right.
So we must have about 2 minutes left after
No,
that.
no, it's fine. Because if we had a whiteboard here, well, we have a dartboard, I would write an E. What does the E stand for? 'Cause I say this all the time. Anyone in the audience?
No, I don't have no clue what you're talking
You don't have no clue. I've done this a million times. Do you ever listen in class?
about. No. We're doing skills. You don't really teach us skills at the minute.
I don't really teach you anything. I never have. So,
Told them bad
I've said
jokes.
this lots of times. Before you decide anything you're gonna do, ethics.
Yeah.
First thought, ethics, the big E. So Tom's right with that. As long as it's ethical. When I say like you can't really do anything wrong, right? As long as you're ethical and that's what you focus on, then you should be okay. But remember, if we're simplexing it, we're just trying to understand that person and form a deep connection with them, and just focus on that. Naomi, can you remember your first client?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Very clearly, yeah.
Is that it? How were
Um,
you feeling?
I'm-
I don't
I was
really
gonna
need to
say,
know
yeah, I
anything
don't
about
wanna-
the client. How were you feeling?
Very nervous. Like Kim was saying that it's quite a privileged role, isn't it? So that all of a sudden, you want help and all of the stuff that you're not there to rescue, you're not there to tell, but the pressure of I really want to make a difference. Am I good enough? Was around for me.
Yeah.
And then I don't really know what more to expand without going into too much detail. My first client, but yeah, you kind of ride those nerves, and I think for me that's because it matters. It's because it was important, and if I sat there and thought I don't feel anything, yeah, I'm going to be great at this, not a care in the world.
Yeah.
I think that would be a little bit dismissive of the significance of that dynamic.
Yeah. Okay. When I had my third client, they came in and they were highly emotional, and then I thought, God damn, this has got real. And I remember having that thought that this has got real now, and back to what this is all about. I don't know what I'm doing. So that was quite scary. But we ride the wave. Because training to be a therapist, the only way you can train to be a therapist is by being a therapist. You can't read a book about it. You just need to just do it. So, Jack.
Yeah, I think for me, there's like anxiety, but also excitement, I guess. And I guess anxiety is just because it's unexpected. But I kind of see it like it's good not to know everything, because I think the only danger is if you go in it believing you know everything. That's when you're most likely to kind of mess it up. And then I think it's kind of like what we're talking about, just being real. And like if you make a mistake, just being real about that, not having to be perfect, and like kind of focusing on the relationship in a way.
Yeah. I think that's a really good point. That like being real, and if you do make a mistake, own it.
And it might not be a mistake. You never know. Like obviously, not talking like ethical things, but you might think something's having a negative impact, but it might have been good for the client, sort of thing. So it's just being honest and kind of owning that.
Now, can anybody were you at the Mick Cooper event we had last year? No, were you at that?
Yeah.
Right. So for the listeners, anyone like to explain who Mick Cooper is? Because not everybody will know.
Joint created pluralism.
Right. And what's pluralism?
It's kind of like doing what's best for the client rather than having like one fixed mindset going into it.
Okay, yeah. So kind of like it's a collaborative approach where we talk to the client about what might be the best thing for them and work out together how to get to some kind of resolution with whatever they've brought. And Mick Cooper, or Mickey as I like to call him, went for lunch with Mick, so I can call him Mickey. Better than Mr. Cooper, innit? Remember hanging out with Mr. Cooper, which was like a 90s sitcom.
Was that an actual sitcom?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, like,
Okay.
Google it. It's not. But it's not about joke. There was actually a 90s sitcom called Hanging Out with Mr. Cooper, right? It wasn't Mick Cooper.
I remember going for lunch, but I don't recall you calling him Mickey.
No, I don't think you should call him Mickey.
Mikey?
Just me.
Well, okay.
Mr. Cooper?
Don't ask me.
All right, okay. Mr. Hawk? We'll call him Mr. Hawk, right? So anyway, what Mr. Cooper said was this idea that when you actually look at the research into therapy, that what the therapist often thinks is a great intervention, client didn't even notice it. What the client thought was something that was very useful, therapist thought it was a kind of innocuous kind of like comment. So this idea of nobody knows, which is bringing it back to the theme of this opening episode. Nobody really knows. So, and because of that, I mean, there's power in that. Why do you think that there might be power in that?
Because there's not a right answer, I guess. So
Yeah.
it kind of increases anxiety, but also decreases it at the same time. I guess it's just accepting it in the end. It's like there is no answer, so you're gonna feel this way, but that's all right, That's kind of the way to feel about it.
Yeah, and there's often articles I read about therapists, and especially trainees, and anecdotally as well on the the various trainings I've been on, where people don't feel ready for the first client, and then a year in, they still don't feel ready for a client. 10 years in, some people think they don't know what they're doing. And it took me a long time to just get to the idea that in some way I do know what I'm doing. But now I've been listening to the Mr. Hawk's podcast. It's making me rethink that maybe I should reconnect back to that beginner's mindset.
There's something Jack mentioned a moment ago around relationship, and that field, it really strikes a chord with me. When we don't know necessarily what we're getting into. You know, we've got an idea and we've got boundaries that we work within, um, but we don't know what's going to come out. And for me, we hold on to that relationship and work within the relationship, and that allows us to respond organically to the moment. It's almost like that's a kind of a guide in a way.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it. And for me, it kind of reduces some of the anxieties that I might have going into a session. Actually, I will allow the relationship to do the work, and I'll respond accordingly. I don't know how that sits with you, Jack, when you mention relationship.
Yeah, I think it makes sense, and I guess it's just being genuine and like genuinely wanting what's best, but knowing that it's not something you've got to work out. You know, it's just something. Well, it's a collaborative thing you work out together. You don't have to go in there with all the answers, and they don't even have to have the answers at that time. And also, like we talk about like the first client and not knowing that, but the same client another day, you can't assume you know them then. You know, like. It's just never certain. I think that's why it's a different. It's not like another job where you're fixing a car. Each car's the same sort of engine. You do it, but like people don't work like that. But I think that's what's beautiful about it, you know. So.
Yeah. Okay. Very good point. And that's what pluralism is also about. That people require different things at different times of their life and different days, etc. So, I am aware we've only got about 3 minutes left in part one. So, kind of like bringing it into a natural close. About perhaps. Anyone had any thoughts then during today's part one episode? Anything they've actually thought about and thought, actually, yeah, that's something I need to reconnect to, or I've not thought about for a while. I know I have, just from Mr. Hawk's podcast.
I thought that was an interesting comparison to make, like the actor thing, like and how there's obviously empathy involved in that. So I hadn't really thought about that before, so that was interesting.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, do you want me to? I mean, Tom, you studied acting. You were almost an actor.
Well, I say I studied acting. Yeah, I think I fumbled my way through it, but go on.
Yeah. Did you when you were playing a part? Could you see that parallel of actually trying to really understand what it's like to be that person or not?
Yes and no. I think I could go so far with it.
Yeah.
And then, but at that time in my life, I won't give you my autobiography at this point.
Okay. Yeah.
But I was incredibly nervous. I was incredibly self-conscious. Lacked a lot of self-esteem. So when it was the worst course for me at that time to get up and do that. So I could kind of get into it a bit, but then it all would crumble fairly soon for me.
Okay. So it felt like it was shining a spotlight on your on a massive vulnerability of yours.
Absolutely, yeah.
But you weren't fully aware that you had that vulnerability.
When I was up there, absolutely, yeah. Okay. But before getting into it, I thought, I'll be honest, I thought it'd be an easy degree, and it wasn't.
Well,
I thought, I had a childhood where I could often make people laugh. I could mess around with my friends, have a good time. Did drama at school. It was a good bit of fun, and then got up to, stepped up to do it at university, and it was a very different thing for me.
Okay. Well, thank you for that, for being honest with that, because in kids. Don't choose psychotherapy as a degree if you want just an easy degree, because it will not be. So, right, we've got about a minute left. So, go on, Naomi. You're looking at me in that face. You look really disappointed in me.
Not at all. Yeah? Not at all. That's just my face.
Yeah, all right.
No, I was just going to say back to the point of Mr. Hawks, as you say.
Yeah.
There's something, and I know I'm a processor, and I'll go away and be thinking, what is that comparison about? But I guess for him, he's totally wanting to be in their lives, to be them, that character. Whereas a therapist, we've got one foot in their world, one foot in ours.
And that's a really good point, because Carl Rogers himself has that as if quality about that. And when we come back after the break, I think we should continue with that point, because that's a really, really good point. So it's time, the end of the first episode. It's ending, so it's a goodbye to our audience, right? Yeah, go on.
Pointing about, you've been talking about Ethan Hawke.
Yeah, Mr. Hawke. Yeah.
So whenever you're talking about, I was listening on the radio this morning to Chesney Hawkes. And I just can't get it out of my head, Nigel. That's what I'm left with today. I'm the one and all. I'm not going to sing it.
Do you want to sing it to leave us out?
I think if we all sing it together, that might be nice. No, the audience not interested.
It's an age thing.
Right. Well, we'll just end part one. Do you mind if I just do a little bit of a jazz trumpet ending to just ease us out of that, or like.
you all right?
I think he's had a bit too much coffee.
Staring at
Right.
me. You're a bull staring at me in that.
Right, part one over.